Hey, fool, this ain't no football game.
Emma's a pimp!
Wait until the Reaper takes my life.
Lucky for you, you are right where you need to be. So sit back, relax, and turn up the volume on your streaming device. Johnny Ballgame, Sir Poops-a-Lot, and the Fantasy Reaper are about to deliver humor and fantasy gold at the same time. Crush your opponent with a smile. It's Fantasy Sports Island.
Welcome back to Fantasy Sports Island.
What's up?
Week 8 in the books, going on to week 9. How are we feeling about the first 8 weeks? Johnny Ballgame?
So weird. Today's trade deadline, weird. Everything about the season is just weird. We wait all year. We wait all freaking year for fantasy football. And then these coaches just pee on our legs. You know what I mean? Like, it's just... Other than that, it's going really well. We're excited about it, and welcome to Fantasy Football Island.
Welcome to the show, Toney Sir Poops-a-Lot.
Bing bong.
What's up, guys?
Tony, without saying a word, you said a lot right there.
You sure did.
I said plenty. I said plenty.
How are we feeling about them Bengals?
Did you just want to replay my rant just now, only just apply it to the Bengals?
Don't know, guys. I don't know. I mean, you 4 losses. It's not the end of the world. And I still think they're the better squad compared to most of the teams, say either in their division or whatever. But it's not encouraging, but it's not the end of the world. But I just don't find an excuse for that performance last night.
It was ridiculous.
Coaching and the players.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
They didn't even show up to play, guys. It was pathetic. I turned it off, and I normally very much enjoy watching the Bengals play, but last night was a joke.
Yeah.
I could not turn it off because in good conscience, I couldn't let that happen, but I wish I had.
I hear you.
All right, I'm the Fantasy Reaper. Welcome to Fantasy Sports Island. We're going on to week 9. We're going to put week 8 behind us. Let's just move on. So what you guys need to do, hit that like button,
Bing.
subscribe, hit the notification bell, ding, and comment. Let us know what you want to see on the show for topics, whatever you feel like. If you disagree with what we've said, there's been plenty of stuff that I've said that I'm sure you disagreed with, and rightfully so, because the Reaper's been wrong on a lot of his predictions. But I'll tell you who's been right. Johnny Ballgame. Guess who's quarterback 1? Joe Burrow.
Even after a shit game.
Even after shit. You know why? Because Josh Allen had a shittier
Josh Allen too. Yeah. Yep. Sure did.
All right, let's go on to the show because we have a lot to get to tonight. Today was the trade deadline, and a lot happened. So let's just get into the news and do this. Starting with the Denver Broncos. They traded away linebacker Bradley Chubb to the Miami Dolphins on Tuesday for a package that included the 2023 first-round pick that Miami had acquired from the 49ers last year. Now, the Dolphins also sent back Chase Edmonds and a 2024 fourth-round pick to Denver for a 2025 fifth-round selection along with Chubb. Did you get all that? Basically, Miami's coming to play, folks. They got Bradley Chubb, a great defensive linebacker, and who else did the Dolphins get?
Jeff Wilson.
That's right. They got Jeffrey Wilson from the 49ers, who was their lead running back until they got Christian McCaffrey, and now he goes to the Dolphins. So, unpacking all that. Did the Dolphins, are they a Super Bowl contender now, John?
Yep. They are. Simple as that. I know everybody thinks Buffalo's going to run away with that division. Miami's got an offense, and now they just added to that defense that's already pretty good, quite frankly. So, yeah, I think they are a serious contender. We have got to pay attention to the Dolphins.
Yeah, they gave up those points to the Lions, and they were like, all right, we need one more piece of this puzzle. Let's get us a good defender. And they did it.
And they went out and got a running back who's actually capable of, running. So I think Jeffrey Wilson's not going to, he's not going to win the rushing title, but he's good. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. And clearly they coveted him more than they did anybody else on their roster right now.
So I think it was a little insurance too. They get rid of Chase Edmonds. They weren't using him. They didn't obviously like him. He goes to where basically the graveyard of running backs.
Running backs go to die.
Yeah, they go to die in Denver. So he goes there. But what they did is they insured themselves because everyone knows Raheem Mostert eventually will get hurt. And now they have a quality running back to just plug in. And I think this is going to be a 50-50 split going forward until Mostert gets hurt. What do you guys think?
Yeah. Is Gaskin still on that team?
Gaskin is still on that team, but they just don't. They don't want to use him.
They hate that guy, but I can't believe they didn't trade him.
Yeah, I know, right?
Nobody wants him.
Ahmed too, don't they? Or they did.
They have Salved on my head.
He had, I don't know. I've seen some stuff with that guy too. I mean, they're okay.
No.
Do something with him instead of just sit him on the bench.
All right. So now let's move on to the Bills. They made a trade. They added pass catching running back that the team has been searching for months by adding Nyheim Hines from the Colts on Tuesday in exchange for running back Zach Moss and a conditional 2023 6th-round pick that can become a 5th-round pick. Nobody cares about that stuff. Bottom line, Bills wanted Christian McCaffrey. They couldn't get him. They've been trying to get all these pass catching backs. They finally land one that they like in Nyheim Hines. Problem is, Nyheim Hines isn't as good as the guy they already have in James Cook.
Yeah, I don't understand it.
I don't get it. They could have kept Duke Johnson and done just as good with Nyheim.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't see the fascination with Nyheim Hines. He's a jag as far as I'm concerned. He's a decent pass catching back, but James Cook is definitely more dynamic and can do just as much, if not more, than Nyheim Hines. Maybe it's a depth kind of thing. I don't know, but it feels like they're going to go with Nyheim Hines and push Cook to the side. What do we think?
I mean, maybe. It's hard to tell. Cook wasn't getting enough play as it was. Now you put Hines in front of him. It's a shame. The winner in this whole thing is Singletary.
You think so?
Yeah, because he doesn't have to think about Moss over his shoulder now. He is the main carrying running back. He doesn't have to worry about Zach Moss. Nyheim Hines has proven he can't carry the load. He can just catch passes out of the backfield. They already had Cook doing that anyway. So I think Singletary is the winner in this.
That's interesting. I didn't think about that way. The way you put it there, it makes sense. You're absolutely right. That could be a telltale sign that Singletary is just going to be the lead back here on.
He's the guy. Yeah,
he's the daddy. You're right. What do we think about Moss going to the Colts? Does this affect Jonathan Taylor in any way? Is his injury maybe a little more severe than we think?
It's not even relevant. I don't even think it's relevant. He's going to be the third down guy, or he's going to be the number 3.
Yeah, he's not even the second back.
Yeah.
When I did first hear about this trade, the first thought was, oh, good, now they got to use more Jonathan Taylor. Like, no more Nyheim Hines. He's off the roster.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a different way to look at it is maybe they want Deion Jackson to get more run as that, like, pass-catching back, and that helps when they get rid of Nyheim Hines. So
I think they do, yeah.
I just don't understand why they needed Moss. Maybe just a backup. I don't know.
Just depth in case Taylor's injury is worse than they think or he gets hurt again.
So Moss went from being third string to third string, just a different team.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Third string on a first place team to third string on a third place team. Yeah, sounds good.
Congratulations.
He stops fumbling.
Yeah.
And maybe if he stops running in mud. All right. Calvin Ridley. Remember him? Johnny, you remember Calvin Ridley?
I remember Calvin Ridley.
I know you do. Calvin Ridley got traded today from the Falcons to the Jaguars. Interesting enough, he is suspended for the year. A lot of people think he's going to be reinstated after this season. They didn't have to give up much to get him. If he can get mentally, right, this could be a really sneaky good trade for the Jaguars going forward.
I think so. I actually really like this trade for Jacksonville. I mean, think about the pieces they're putting around Trevor Lawrence now. Now they've got Calvin Ridley. They've already got ATM. They're getting rid of some of the older folks.
I like Kirk as a number 2. I don't like him as number 1. I like him as 2.
Yeah, you got Zay Jones there as a third. I mean, this is a team that's lining out a little bit. It's weird.
There's a lot there for Ridley too. If he sticks with him and performs, and he's got something to prove, and he's going to get a good deal out of it. It's a little risky because you see a lot of these guys when they miss that amount of time, especially for a situation like Ridley. I don't know what's up with his attitude or his mental health or whatever.
Yeah.
But he's uber talented, man. At a couple of years ago, he was what? Top 5 guy. So if he can recreate that quickly.
He was my number one wide receiver draft pick last year. I don't know if you guys remember that or not. Everybody thought he was going to be a big giant star. You remember? Remember that?
He was the wrong kind of star. He was the star that puckers in your butthole.
Yep, true.
The Steelers. Gross. The Steelers traded Chase Claypool finally to the Bears, Johnny Ballgame. First, second rounder. A lot of people probably went, who cares? But for the Bears, I think this is pretty good.
I like it. I mean, again, I start to look at what are they putting around young talent, right? So they've got Fields. I just watched that. I just rewatched the Dallas Bears game literally right before I got on here. Fields didn't look bad, man. I mean, they had a bunch of scoring runs there, right all in a row. I like that they give Mooney somebody on the other side. If N'Keal Harry could actually work out, who actually looked pretty good in this game as well, got a nice touchdown. He's a big body. So now you've got Claypool, N'Keal Harry, and Mooney. You've got Khalil Herbert and Montgomery coming out of the backfield.
St. Brown.
You got, he's there too.
St. Brown.
Yeah.
As a wide receiver 4, that's not bad.
Yeah, as a wide receiver 4 and a return guy, he's probably not hateful there. Mm-hmm. You got Pettis there. I don't think he'll be there after the season. But I like what they're doing. I actually really like the Claypool pickup because he's got a nice catch radius. He can go up and get that ball, so that's going to help Fields with his. Sometimes he's a little slightly erratic. So the more I thought about this today, at first I was kind of like, it might be good for Mooney. I actually think I might like Claypool now. In fact, I went and picked him up in a league.
I was just going to say, because you did go pick him up.
Yeah.
All right. The Lions traded T.J. Hockenson in a surprise move to their division rivals, the Vikings, for a couple picks. So I think that the Vikings, or Smith, he rolled his ankle pretty bad. He's going to be out for a while. And
he's going on IR.
He's going to go on IR, and Hockenson steps right in. He's the perfect fit. This team is 6-1. I like this move a lot for the Vikings. Not sure what Detroit was thinking, but hey.
I don't either. I was just thinking that.
I mean, obviously Detroit's season is pretty much over. I mean, they're like 1-7. They're not going anywhere. But T.J. Hockenson was part of that young nucleus they were building around there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why they would give up on him so quickly, but he's going to a better team.
I was hearing they didn't want to spend the money next year.
I hate hearing that.
I know.
What a shame. I don't get the Lions. I don't get trading him in your own division. That guy's an awfully talented tight end. Mm-hmm. To then go, we think we should face that guy twice a year. I don't know why you would ever do that. And the Vikings, just another weapon.
Why would you give up a guy that's capable of scoring 50 points in fantasy football?
I don't know.
Oh, I know why. Because they don't think like we do, like fantasy players. This is real football. Maybe he's a bad blocker. I don't know.
No, really.
My buddy said he's a bad blocker. Exactly. He's from Detroit.
Yeah.
He said, he's a terrible blocker and he's inconsistent the way the Lions look at him as being inconsistent. I'm like, well, get him the ball. Let's see. What do you mean inconsistent?
If he's a bad blocker, make him go out on routes.
Right? Who's inconsistent? Goff. That's who's inconsistent.
Goff. Yeah. All right.
Golf it up.
Yeah, golf it up. The New York Giants traded Kadarius Toney after our show aired last week, so I wanted to touch up on that. He goes to the Chiefs for 2 2023 picks. Great move for the Chiefs, guys. And all of a sudden, Kadarius Toney is healthy now. No more nagging injury.
That is weird.
It's not weird. He wanted out. They didn't want him. That regime didn't like him. They get him out of there. He goes to Kansas City, and now all is right in the world. They'll start slowly with him, according to Andy Reid, and start, getting him more and more packages as the weeks go on. But, man, later in the season, I think this is a sneaky good pickup on the waiver wire.
Wonder who got him.
Me?
I got him in one league.
It's funny. Toney texts us in the group string there. He always texts us the moves, and then he doesn't go out and pick up the guy. He lets me do it. Thanks, Tony.
He tried to pick up one today, but you'd already beat him to it. Yeah.
Well, he texted us. We'll get to that in a minute. But he texted me that someone had just been traded. It was Jeff Wilson. And so I'll go pick up Jeff Wilson on a couple waiver wires. And then Tony tried to pick him up later and realized I already got him. I was like, Tony, why'd you tell me?
I was grabbing him while you were. It just took me a minute because he was available. And I said, okay, cool. And then it said, oh, he's no longer available. I'm like, what? And then I get the notification that you grabbed him right then, like maybe like 30 seconds.
You know what?
Text done that to me before too.
It might be a blessing in disguise for you, Tony, because that could be a total RBBC over there, and you probably don't want any part of it.
No, he's a bench guy right now. He's a good backup.
Yeah, he's a depth piece. All right, I'll tell you who didn't get traded today. Brandon Cooks, Kareem Hunt, Elijah Moore, and Denzel Mims. They were all rumored to be going out in trades before the trade deadline, and all stayed put on their respective teams. Brandon Cooks was unhappy with that. He made a pretty negative tweet. Elijah Moore, I'm sure, is not happy. Kareem Hunt not getting traded, that's a weird scenario. So what's the fallout of this? Is Elijah Moore someone you can just cut now?
I did. I cut him in a league. I
All right.
haven't in the league. I held on to him, but in my money league, the big money league that we're in, I cut him.
In one of our leagues, one of the guys cut Brandon Cooks after today's news that he wasn't being traded.
Yeah.
Should you give up on Brandon Cooks?
I'd pick him up. Number one receiver on a bad team.
Well, he's available now, John. So go on that waiver wire and get him.
Yeah, I wonder what's going to happen. He's pretty pissy.
Would you cut Darrell Henderson Jr. since the Rams didn't really get a running back? But Darrell Henderson
I'd cut Cam Akers if I was still holding on to him.
Sure, but you would hold on to Darrell Henderson?
I mean, he's their number one running back. I don't know what else they're going to do. It's a terrible spot.
Would you cut A.J. Dillon?
Nah, well, gosh.
No, because you can't trust Aaron Jones to stay healthy.
That, and you should at least wait to cut Dillon till next week because they're playing the Lions this week.
That's right.
Did you
and like I said, he's kind of a cold weather guy.
Yeah, he gets better as the year goes.
Great. He always picks up the pace in December.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
What's
up with the Cam Akers thing, man? Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, that's okay. Cam Akers, there's something mentally going on with that guy. The Rams don't want him back, but he's back. So I don't know what they're going to do with him. Are they going to keep him inactive? We'll see.
There must be something there, even more than we know. There's no team even said, "Hey, I'll take him as a backup." You know.
Yeah, that injury really crippled him. If you watched him run this year, he had no explosion at all. So,
yeah.
Fortunate.
Would you cut Brian Robinson? Because I'm just going to say it. I'm going to say it. I don't care that I mean, great. He got shot. It's a great story. He came back from that. But Antonio Gibson is way better than Brian Robinson right now. It's not.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I'm tired of watching, Robinson run in mud and get 2 yards while Gibson's catching passes out of the backfield and making plays.
Yeah.
I think Gibson got the raw end of this deal. And maybe he shot Robinson. I don't know. But, it took Robinson coming back and taking the starting job for him to light a fire under Gibson's ass. But Gibson's the better running back right now.
Yeah.
So will we cut Brian Robinson?
I'd stash him on my bench for a little bit. Again, Gibson gets hurt a lot.
What about Hunter Renfrow? Would we cut him?
Yes.
Would we cut David Carr?
Gosh. I keep thinking they're going to get it right there.
I know, right? It's I don't like him. Like I said, I think he's a choker. I never looked at him as being a winner, but I don't look at him as sucking like this bad. He's still worthy of a start, or you're almost a number one QB at the beginning of the season, but I didn't even see it being this bad. Well, what, you're not going to play? Are you going to play him if you don't have to?
I caught him for Geno Smith, and I played Geno Smith last week, and thank God I did because Carr was absolutely garbage. I don't think there's any reason to hold on to him. They're a running team, and they're not a good team either, offensively, by the way. So when it's not happening on the ground, they absolutely they don't do anything on offense. Yeah. And I don't see that changing. I really don't. All right, so most of us would cut Derek Carr, correct?
Yeah.
All right.
fantasy heroes and zeros.
Let's do some fantasy heroes and fantasy zeros. Go through this list real quick. Start with quarterback 1 on the week, Jalen Hurts, 19 of 28, 285, 4 touchdowns, and he added 2 carries for 10 yards. Here's what I really like about that stat line. All of the damage was done from the pocket, Johnny. He wasn't scrambling. He wasn't running in touchdowns. He had 4 passing touchdowns, 3 of them to A.J. Brown. But that was an impressive game. What do we think of Hurts going forward?
I like Hurts. I especially like him with A.J. Brown because, again, he's another guy who's not super accurate, and A.J. Brown can go up and get that ball. He's a big, wide-body guy who can go up and get the ball. Love that combination. It's a really nice combination.
All right, so A.J. Brown finished with 6 catches for 156 and 3 touchdowns. Huge game for him.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Tua Tagovailoa. Tony, you have Tua. You had to play him this week because you had some bye issues.
3 leagues. Yeah.
And he just went absolutely ballistic for you. 29 of 36 for 382, 3 touchdowns, and he added 15 yards on the ground. Great game from Tua. What do you think?
This is why I like him. He has now faced a ton of diversity. Last year, I mean, many injuries. Now all the head and, concussions and all the crap this year. And he comes right back out of the gate firing the ball.
Mm-hmm.
So besides diversity in the different teams he's played, he also has fought through a lot of adversity, I think.
Yeah, adverse.
That's the word you were looking for. But it has been diverse, too, because he's playing all these good teams dominating.
He's also a really big liberal and is very much a person. So that's what I was getting at.
Yeah, super, super important to him.
Tyreek Hill, 12 catches for 188 yards. The man is now wide receiver 1 in football. This is crazy. I mean, I liked Tyreek Hill, but I had no idea he was going to be this good with Tua. John, what is going on?
I'm really impressed. I need to apologize to Hill because I thought he was going to be one of those receivers that changes teams, that does crap, very average. It turns out he's still really good. He's pretty good, that one. Fast. Tua hits him. He's playing with a really good quarterback for him because Tua hits that guy in stride. Tua's got a real nice pass to hit the guy in stride, lead him to where he wants him to go. Him and Waddle are both eating, and they are both enjoying their lives.
Absolutely.
Got to eat like Zeke, baby.
Beta.
You know who else had a good game? Kyler the Compiler Murray. Johnny's favorite rap artist, Eazy-E, in a losing effort, of course, goes 31 of 44, 326, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks, and he rushed for 36 yards. So he had a really good game in a losing effort. I tell you what, it's black and white to me. When he has Hopkins, he's really good, and when he doesn't, he's really bad. It's that simple.
Yeah, we've now got 3 years worth of tape to prove it to us.
Yeah, that's true.
So let's talk about Hopkins. 12 catches for 159 and a touchdown. Did you guys see the catch for the touchdown?
Yes.
Left-handed, one-hand stab
Balling.
between 2 defenders in the end zone. You got to be kidding me, right? How did we miss this? None of us got any shares of Hopkins, am I correct?
No, I have 0.
And you could have had him in like the 7th, 8th, 9th rounds.
Easily.
Well, I mean, he had all those weeks that he was suspended. I figured it'd take a couple more weeks, to heat up. I didn't completely count him out, but I didn't think he was like,
yeah.
All right, 150 yards. I didn't think it was going to be like that.
Did he accidentally ingest some more steroids right before he came off the IR? Just wondering. Asking for a friend.
Sure.
All right, let's get to the running backs because there was a lot of good running back performances.
A lot of running backs.
But none better than King Derrick Henry. 32 carries for 219 yards, 2 touchdowns. He added a catch for 9 yards. And again, he made Houston his bitch. Johnny, speak on Derrick Henry.
He is the best running back in the league right now. That guy There's no combination of size and speed, maybe ever, that's that good as King Henry. And everybody thought the injury, I want to go on record as saying I told you he was going to have a comeback year and going to be amazing. And he is number one fantasy running back right
now. Yeah. I think that's not going to change either because he's coming on like gangbusters.
Yeah. And that's after a slow start.
I don't want to jinx it, but when people hit him too, like he doesn't flop around like some of the other, I guess his size. He doesn't get banged up as much. When he falls, it doesn't look painful. You know, sometimes you see these running backs get drilled and you're like, ugh. Anytime he gets in, like, he's fine.
Honestly, he's the one doing the hitting.
Yeah.
He's delivering more punishment than he's getting.
Yeah. Toney, Dalvin Cook, you're welcome. I traded Dalvin Cook. 20 carries for 111, a touchdown, 5 catches for 30 yards. Excellent game for Dalvin Cook. He always does well for you, Toney. Talk to me about Dalvin.
I like the catches, even if it's only 30 yards. I love seeing a guy get, 100 yards rushing, 20 carries, and still getting the looks on the side for the screens and so on and so forth. So I'm excited. He can just stay right there. He doesn't have to get 150 yards. He doesn't have to get 3 touchdowns. Catch a few balls, run 100 yards, get the touchdown. That's what he's best with.
Yeah, so when you get 30 yards in the air on 5 catches, that's 8 points there. It's more than a touchdown.
We're just giving you some free points.
And you know what? Madison got a vulture touchdown, and Cook still went off. So
yeah, Madison had 40 or 50 yards.
Yeah, it's nice to see. I mean, like, it's a little bit of an RBBC there, but Cook is the more dominant of the two.
Yeah.
But he still gets his, that's good to see. All right. Christian McCaffrey. I'm gonna admit it right now. There was a point in the game, very beginning of the game, Christian McCaffrey had fumbled the ball twice. And it looked like the Niners pulled him out for a few plays as punishment. And I was bitching to you fellas in the text that they benched Christian McCaffrey. And I'm pissed off. And I'm like, why isn't he in there? And then he comes in and throws a touchdown pass.
Literally 2 plays later.
2 plays later. And then he scores on the ground for a touchdown. And then he catches a touchdown. 18 carries, 94 yards, touchdown. 8 receptions, 55 yards, touchdown. And a 34-yard touchdown strike to Ayuk. Best game of his career, possibly. And I feel like a fool right now. Thank you, Christian McCaffrey. That was a fantastic game. You are a hero, my man.
Sure is.
And he didn't even play 80% of the snaps, guys. He's still kind of like not fully being used yet. They haven't fully unleashed him yet. Look out. Look out. Okay. The guy, when they traded McCaffrey, we all thought, oh boy, Carolina's going to suck. But they just plug in Deontay Foreman. He goes for 26 carries, 118, 3 touchdowns, and he added a 2-point conversion. Wow.
I think that's more points than he's had in his entire career. Had it all in one game.
He's had 2 games that were better than McCaffrey had at any point during his Carolina season this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Didn't see it coming.
And
one, Chuba Hubbard was playing and actually had a pretty good game too.
Yeah. Is he going to keep it up?
I think they'll split it. I think him and Chuba are going to split it 50-50. They like to see that young guy in there getting some experience. So,
can I toot our horns on this show, Johnny? It's about 3 weeks ago. We were talking about waiver wire gems, and I didn't hear it anywhere else on any of the shows I listened to. We were talking about thinking ahead that McCaffrey could get traded to go out and preemptively pick up Deontay Foreman for this reason. It happened. He got traded. But I didn't think he'd be this good. I mean, I really didn't. But he looks really, really good. He looks better than he did last year when he took over and was pretty dominant in Henry's absence.
Right.
He looks great.
Looks really good.
All right. Tony Pollard, 14 carries for 131 yards and 3 TDs and added a catch for 16 yards. In Zeke's absence, Pollard looked fantastic. But I have a question for you. Is it the sample size? Is this the type of guy that if you give him too many carries, he wears down? Can he handle this kind of load for, 10 games to end the season?
Good question. It's a good question.
Never had the opportunity.
Are we gonna see it though? Are we gonna see the opportunity? Is Zeke going to take a back seat?
No.
Jerry Jones says no.
No. They'll split carries again. I believe that's why they didn't let Zeke go. I agree with you. I think he's going to be one of those guys. He's really good for a game, like a whole game if he's got to carry the load, maybe a game or two. But I think if you gave him that load every week, week in and week out, I really do think he would start to fade. But God, he's fast.
Yeah, he is.
He just has moves and jukes that Zeke no longer has. Now, if I was coaching that team, I'd let Zeke kind of be like the goal line back and the short yardage back, and I'd let Pollard just kind of eat. I'd let Pollard do his thing.
Looks like he is shot out of a cannon half the time in those holes. My gosh.
But money talks. Zeke's got the big contract. Jerry Jones loves Zeke. He's the one that drafted him.
I'd love to see if Pollard could take a full load, because if he could, that guy.
Don't you think that Jerry Jones is more stubborn than anything, though?
Yes. Absolutely.
Yes.
That's what it's all about, and it's kind of a shame. Old fuck. Sorry, it just pisses me off. I mean, you do what's best for the team, and he just doesn't do it.
Exactly.
How do you feel about it, though?
God, I hate that guy. Drives me crazy.
All right. Alvin Kamara. Hello. Hasn't scored all year and breaks out for 18 carries, 62 yards, and a touchdown on the ground. 9 catches for 96 yards and 2 more touchdowns in the air. Also, I happen to play Andy Dalton. Thank you, Alvin Kamara. I mean, you came through like a hero, like a champ.
Yeah. That was a
best game he's had all year. He looked fantastic.
Honestly, that was the best game he's had in 2 years.
I agree.
Because he didn't have that. It wasn't last year that he had that touchdown game on Thanksgiving, was it?
No, that was 2 years ago.
It was 2
years.
Right. Yeah. That's the best game since that game.
Yeah, I think you're right.
He looks fantastic. All right, Aaron Jones, 20 carries for 143 yards, 4 catches for 14. He was basically all that the Packers have on offense against those Bills.
That guy's dominant. If he can stay healthy, dominant. Could be a top 5 running back if he could stay healthy.
Yeah. I'm coming right back to you, John. How about Travis Etienne? 24 carries. That's way more than I thought he'd ever get. 156 yards. Also way more than I thought he'd ever get on the ground. And he had a touchdown. He also caught 3 balls for 6 yards. This is the guy you were waiting for right there.
Yeah. And here's the crazy thing. They're still not using him the way they should. They need to use this guy more in the passing game, get him out in space. The guy's got terrific hands. He's fantastic catching passes. I'll take the carries and the yards, though, but I love having some shares of ATM. I got him in a couple of leagues.
Nice. Very nice. All right. Tony, I want to talk to you about this guy because this is a guy that you've drafted several times. You've taken chances on, and he's really been kind of a ghost for a long time. But now with Carolina kind of this like resetting their entire offense with a new quarterback, DJ Moore, 6 catches for 152 yards and a touchdown, and what we thought was a game-winning touchdown on a 50-yard bomb towards the last portions of the game. Then he takes his helmet off.
Then he ruins it.
And ruins the whole thing as they makes the kicker kick from 15 yards further, and he misses the kick. It goes in overtime. They eventually lose. But my God, DJ Moore looks good.
Yeah.
They got him the ball, man. It's another case of between the play calling and an inconsistent quarterback. You know, when you have somebody with that kind of hands, you get him the ball. There was several occasions where he made amazing catches, and he had those defenders right up in his face, and he still held on to the ball. Get him the ball when they're that good. And hopefully Walker and, things are going to work now, and they'll get him the ball. That's all I can say.
All I got to say is I hope when Baker Mayfield is healthy and when Sam Darnold's ready to come back, I hope they just continue with Walker because, honestly, he's better for that team than either one of those guys.
I agree.
Yeah, might as well see what the young kids got. I mean, you know what you got with Darnold and Baker. Not good.
No, not good.
No.
All right. Let's do some fantasy zeros. We got to talk about these guys, all right?
So you just want to cover my team from last week?
We'll get to that. Derek Carr, 15 of 26 for 101 yards and an interception. Derek Carr had 101 yards passing in a game they were losing the entire way. What are we doing? I mean, this is putrid numbers. Putrid. You can cut him.
Yep.
Jonathan Taylor, 16 carries, 76 yards, and he lost a fumble. And he appeared to re-injure his little right ankle sprain. We're not cutting Jonathan Taylor. I'm not saying, you still gotta start him, but this guy he's not going to be the RB1 this year, folks.
Nope. Not even close.
He's not the same guy.
I'm not even sure he's top 10.
He's not. He's not top 10. You'll be lucky if he finishes in the top 15 this year.
Yeah.
I still expect him to come on at the end when he kind of gets healthy from this ankle injury. But, I mean, the offense is a mess. They changed quarterbacks. They fired their offensive coordinator, by the way, today. Things aren't looking good for this team. And definitely not
they
for
did
Jonathan.
Zach Moss today, so, I mean,
they're all set. Brian Robinson, 8 carries for 20 yards, and he looked slow.
It's terrible.
He looked terrible. I mean, I'd cut him if I had him. I just don't think he's going to be – I don't even think he's going to start soon. I think it's going to be – I really do think it's going to be Gibson's run here for a while. They've just played better with Gibson. Heineke likes Gibson. He just doesn't look fast or explosive at all.
Looks like a guy who got shot in the ass. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he does.
Sadly, he does. He does look like he got shot in the ass. Devontae Adams, product of Derek Carr's inability to throw the ball down the field. 1 catch for 3 yards. Devontae Adams, folks. 1 catch for 3 yards. Really? How do you predict this stuff?
Ridiculous.
I mean,
ridiculous.
Honestly, I think Devontae Adams will come back from this and have some big games. I do. But this should never happen.
No,
and it never happened in Green Bay, folks. You didn't see a game where Rodgers only got him the ball 1 time for 3 yards. That just didn't happen.
Bad game would be like 6 for 75.
Exactly.
Yeah. They'd be like, oh,
You didn't get a touchdown, son of a bitch.
Only got me 12 this week.
Johnny would take 12 points.
I would take 12 from any of my receivers.
You know why? Because I have a list of several receivers that got absolutely nada. And I think they were on your team.
They were all on my team.
George Pickens, Elijah Moore, Devontae Parker, Rashad Bateman, 0.0.
I literally have multiple shares of 2 of those, and the other 2 were on my big money team that I had to play because of bye weeks and injuries. 4 zeros. And then throwing Harrison Bryant, who I picked up.
That's funny. That's next on my list. Harrison Bryant, 0.0. And I would like to formally apologize to my viewers and to Johnny Ballgame, as I did suggest going out and picking up Harrison Bryant.
Yeah.
And I still think you got to give him another week or 2, see what happens, because last night game was weird. Chubb was running the ball down their throats, and they just continued to run the ball. And then when they did throw, it was going to Amari Cooper. I think it was an oddity, but I'm really sorry that Harrison Bryant got you guys 0.
Yeah.
0.
All right. I don't want to talk about no more zeros.
Those
no more zeros.
Waiver wire gems.
Let's do a fun thing. Let's do waiver wire gems, Johnny.
Oh, okay. Let's do that.
Let's talk about some guys that let's go on the waiver wire and see if you guys should pick these guys up. All right.
Yeah.
Let's start with a couple guys that are probably not on the waiver wire, but just go back and double check. Latavius Murray. He seems like the lead back in Denver right now. Kenyon Drake. Gus Edwards got injured. We're not sure if he's going to play this week. Drake had another good game. You probably want to make sure he's not on the waiver wire. Right, John?
Hate the Drake.
We all hate the Drake. Caleb Huntley, the Falcons. A nice game. 15 carries for 86 yards. He's quietly like their RB1. I know Patterson's due back here pretty quick here, John. But would you take a stab at Caleb Huntley?
Not with if Patterson comes back. I think stash him as a handcuff maybe. Algiers still out touches Huntley. I mean, they're about even. Algiers out snaps Huntley, but they split the touches. I like Algiers better in the passing game. I like Huntley better in the running game, and I like Cordell Patterson for both. So, I think what you got is the makings of an RBC, and I'm scared of all of them. And I have Cordell coming back off, and I dropped Huntley today just because I had to have a defense and some other things on my team going on. But I don't dig him that much, but he's worth a stash.
Is Kyron Williams on the Rams worth the stash now that we know they didn't make a trade for a running back?
Yes. Tony, what do you think?
Wait, say that again?
Kyron Williams, the Rams. Is he worth picking up, knowing that the Rams did not go out and get a running back in a trade today? And we saw what happened last week. A rookie out carried the ball from Darrell Henderson. So they obviously don't like Darrell Henderson.
No.
I don't understand their I thought they did like him, but it changed. I like the kid, so I mean I would grab him. I actually don't have any shares of him, but I think he's going to do something.
Yeah.
Okay. Isaiah Pacheco, he's the starter in Kansas City, but again, if they're in a like full-blown three-headed RBBC out there, I avoid all three if I can, but if I had to choose one, I think I'd take Clyde Edwards-Helaire because they seem to use him around the goal line and in the passing game a little bit as well. I'm not interested in Isaiah Pacheco. I think it's just people like to say his name. Pacheco! It just sounds cool.
Yeah,
But what has he done, folks? What has he done?
I was hopeful. He looked okay in preseason, but
exactly. He was a preseason hype guy.
Yeah, he's not doing anything. He doesn't look very outstanding when he does get the ball. So,
okay, this is a guy I told you guys to go pick up, and it might be too late. But if he's still out there, Greg Dulcich, tight end for the Broncos.
I thought Albert O was going to get traded today, but he didn't.
Yeah, Albert O's nobody wants that guy. 6 for 87 in week 8 for Dulcich. Very steady, good. Got to go get him. If he's out there, go get him.
Yeah.
All right. Ronnie Rivers is the guy on the Rams that out-touched Darrell Henderson this week. I mean, do we go pick him up? Ronnie Rivers?
I think Kyron Williams is going to end up being that running back.
I agree. If you have to choose between the two, go get Kyron Williams.
Yeah.
I think he's the guy that will eventually lead this backfield in touches.
Yeah.
Evan Ingram, he's out there in a lot of leagues. He's steadily getting his 6 catches every week for like 50, 60 yards. If you need 10, 12 points from the tight end, which is pretty good this year, Evan Ingram's not a bad guy to have.
Worse.
You could do worse.
You have Harrison Bryant.
All right. We all know that Mandrews, got a little banged up with the shoulder the other night. We're not sure if he's going to be playing this week. If he doesn't play, Isaiah Likely is a likely candidate.
How likely is it?
To go off in his place. He's the perfect handcuff. You don't handcuff tight ends very often, but in this situation, I think you do if you can. Yeah. I unfortunately have Mandrews, and Likely's been scooped up, so I can't do that. But if you have Mandrews, go get Isaiah Likely.
Absolutely.
Find it hard to believe that guy would be. He looked good in preseason. He looks good now. If Mandrews wasn't there, this guy would be a top 10 tight end.
Yeah.
It's almost there.
I agree. Reminds me.
He would likely be a top 10 tight end.
Devin Duvernay. People still don't believe in this guy, but knowing that Rashad Bateman's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks, who else do they have to throw the ball to? It's Likely or Devin Duvernay, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to get the ball.
Well, I mean, they got Deshaun Jackson now. Don't forget about him.
One of these days, Johnny.
He's going to get his one game. Don't you worry.
70-yard touchdown.
Yep.
Okay, this is the guy that's number 1 on my waiver wire, and I scooped him up wherever I could. Josh Palmer. Wide receiver of the Chargers. We know Mike Williams is out. They're coming off the bye. Last time Josh Palmer played as the wide receiver 2, he was catching 8 balls for like 60 yards. I love Josh Palmer. I love the pedigree. He's explosive. He's in the right position now. And at least for the next 4 weeks, I think you play him. You start him in your lineup. You pick him up and you start him as a flex.
Yeah.
What do we think?
I think you're right. I mean, he let me down a little bit earlier in the season when he was playing opposite of Mike Williams, but I think you're right about that wasn't exactly the right position for him. So I dig.
Now he is Mike Williams in that offense. So,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I like that. All right. Yeah. Tony's down there just listening to us, and he's probably low-key picking up all the guys.
Well, I'm going through my list here. I'm like Palmer, Huntley. I have them all on there.
That's good.
You mentioned one guy last week, that's Rachaad White. I think that his day hits. Yeah, what do you call him? Fifth nut? What do you call him?
Yeah. Fourth nut or fifth nut or fat butt.
I think his days are numbered, man. They can't get the ball going. I mean, Rachaad wasn't doing anything special either, but I like the pep and the step of that kid.
That's the thing, though. He's more explosive. He's more efficient on the ground, and he's a good pass catcher. So as long as Brady trusts him, this Fournette thing's coming to an end. I agree with you.
I think so.
Yeah. How about Rondale Moore?
It's another guy that let me down earlier in the season. And then
I like this.
I'll tell you what I like, okay? They were playing him as the wide receiver 2 on the outside when they didn't have a deep threat, when Hollywood went down, right? So they tried him on the outside. That doesn't work. That's not what he's good at. He's good in the slot. Now they have Robbie Anderson on the outside, and they're playing Rondale Moore back in the slot where he's more of a natural fit, and that's why he had a big game. So I do like Rondale Moore. If he's out there, go get him. Probably not out there, though.
Probably not. Not after his last game.
Chuba Hubbard.
Still have him.
I like what I see from Deontay Foreman, but Chuba Hubbard is going to get some. He's like the passing down guy there, So and if Foreman goes down to injury, Chuba's plug and play, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's a guy. A lot of people gave up on and dropped him because he got hurt. But if he's out there, you got to go get him. Treylon Burks in Tennessee, Johnny.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
What do you think?
I haven't thought of him.
Robert Woods isn't lighting anybody up as the number 1 receiver. They're going to need to start passing a little bit more because they're going to start keying on Henry. I like it. I like this Treylon Burks call.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I'm putting that down right now.
Yeah. He's not available in our league. I know because last week I tried to pick him up and he was gone. So,
all right, let's talk about if you're like hurting because of the buys at quarterback and you need to stream a quarterback. Let's talk about a few guys real quick.
sure.
Justin Fields is top of my list. You want to stream a quarterback? He's starting to run the ball a lot. He's actually throwing the ball, spreading it out, putting up numbers.
Yep.
Andy Dalton is another guy that you can plug and play. I played him last week because I had my quarterback was on a bye in Herbert. So I just threw Dalton out there. And I actually asked my friends here, I said, hey, look, I could go pick up Mills or I could pick up Andy Dalton. Which one should I do? And these guys were both like, Dalton, pick up Dalton. And Royce was too. And thank God you guys, because, I was 50-50. So I'm glad you told me Dalton. Dalton had a good game.
He did.
Marcus Mariota.
Mariota.
What do we think? Is he worth the stream? He does.
If you're in a deeper league, or you've got some issues, you got bye weeks or whatever, you can do worse.
Yeah, because last week he did throw the ball a little bit this week, and he was hitting his tight end, and he had Bird. He hit Bird.
I was actually surprised he wasn't on your waiver wire list there. That guy's starting to pick up some steam. That guy's fast.
Yeah. Ryan Tannehill will be back from injury soon. I don't know if he's worth the pickup, though, to be honest, in that offense. The way that King Henry's running the ball, I just don't see him throwing that much.
Yeah.
I don't know.
If Treylon Burks comes back, if you remember right, the reason A.J. Brown was so good is because one thing Ryan Tannehill does really well is play action pass. And when you've got King Henry running as well as he does, you give those fakes, they're all buying on it. And then he used to hit A.J. Brown over the middle, those big bombs or those big passes. You replace that guy with Treylon Burks, who's the exact same body type, but actually a little tiny bit faster. You could start to see Tannehill gain some gain some ground.
Excellent point. Like, you nailed it. Traylon Burks in that A.J. Brown role is exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
All right, here's a couple other guys you should just take a look out on the waiver wire, make sure they're not available. Darnell Mooney, Zay Jones, Mecole Hardman, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Romeo Doubs, who had a decent game this week. Make sure those guys are taken. They shouldn't be out there. All right. One guy, DeMarcus Robinson. He actually had a decent game. The receiving core is all banged up in Baltimore. Do we take a look at DeMarcus Robinson, or have we seen enough over his career to know he sucks?
We know he's a Jag. Right? I mean, he's just another guy.
Yeah.
He'll have the occasional good game and then go back to being DeMarcus Robinson.
Can't depend on much production.
Mm-mm.
Okay, and tight ends, Robert Tonyan, Juwan Johnson, Cole Kmet. Any interest in any of those guys?
I had some Juwan.
I like him, but he doesn't get the ball enough.
He doesn't get the ball
I
enough.
do like him. He looks great.
No.
I love Tonyan this week, folks. Playing the Lions. Just this week, playing the Lions.
I noticed you went and picked him up.
I did, just because I'm not sure Manders is going to play.
Yeah.
And I have Freiermuth, who's on a bye, unfortunately. So I have 3 tight ends on my freaking roster. Try not to do that, guys. That's not the best way to handle your roster construction there. But it's a necessity for me.
Yeah.
All right.
Burning questions.
Ready for some burning questions?
I am.
All right.
I'm burning ready.
All right. I got 3 of them. 3 burning questions today. Here's my first. We all watched that Bills-Packers game the other night. Is Aaron Rodgers just playing out his contract to collect a paycheck?
I don't think so. Tony, what do you think?
I like to say kinda. I don't think I personally don't think it's his goal, but he still refuses to really take on any of the responsibility or blame. And that is a side of him that is like kind of the quitter. But I think he tries to get his shit together and practices hard with the team, communicates well, whatever it may be. And then once the game gets going, if things are not going his way, he's like, I'm doing the best I can. He's just one of those guys. So I think he would rather be winning. That's what I'm saying. I don't really think he's just folding and, but it's tough. He's hard to follow.
My problem is I think he's a powder. He got behind in that Bills game pretty quick, and then he started pouting because he feels like he doesn't have the weapons around him to make the comeback. So what do? They run the ball 10, 11 straight times. You could see it in his body language. It's like, I don't give a shit here. Just run the ball because we're not coming back anyways. Yeah. And the sad part is the Bills kind of coughed the ball up a couple times and kind of gave you a shot, but you didn't try and you could have made it a game, dude. Where's the heart? Do you think Tom Brady would ever give up like that? I'm just saying.
Exactly.
Say what you want about Tom Brady. Do you think he's ever given up?
Mm-mm.
And this is why I traded Aaron Rodgers' ass off my team last year. He did the same thing in the first game of the year last year. They got blown out. He quit and stopped. He took himself out of the game in like the beginning of the fourth quarter. Remember that, John?
Yeah.
And I thought, this guy's a quitter. I got the same sinking feeling watching that Bills game. Like, man, this guy is a bitch. I'm sorry.
You texted us in the middle. You're like, he's quit. He's out. I'm out. He quit.
And I stopped watching the game. I mean, I would check in because I had Josh Allen. I wanted to see what he did. But honestly, I can't stand watching Aaron Rodgers in this offense. They are boring. They don't throw the ball down the field. It is just, it's garbage, man. I think he's quit. All right, second burning question. Is Tom Brady just playing out his contract to collect a paycheck?
I mean, he doesn't quit, but boy, he's not enjoying himself this year. Tom Brady's not having fun.
He's not.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing you can say, now I understand Tom Brady is a little more boisterous than Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron Rodgers does look more like a bitch on the field. But at least Brady is still showing passion. There's still what am I trying to say? A sense of urgency. And he's communicating and yelling. And you don't see that out of Aaron Rodgers. So
Exactly. He wants to win. That's the difference. He really does want to win.
I think if he wanted to, he could retire. Like he would. I think he'd retire before he'd quit on the field. So I don't think he's just playing out his contract. I actually think he really does want to win. And I think he wants to turn around to prove to everybody it was worth him coming back this year. So there's a little bit of pride in that, because right now it's looking really stupid for him to have come back. He's gotten divorced because of it, getting his ass kicked on the field because of it. So I think there's that part of him that's like a competitive bastard that's like, I'm going to prove all you wrong that it was worth me coming back.
Yeah, and he still looks better than many quarterbacks in the NFL. He still looks better.
The thing is, he's got pretty good weapons around him. I think it's just the offensive line is shot. Yeah. And when Brady doesn't have time, we've seen this. He's not very good. Yeah. I mean, what quarterback is very good when they don't have time?
I mean, look at Joe Burrow last night, got his ass kicked. I mean, over and over.
Sacks, I think.
All right. Last burning question. This one's a fun one. If you were drafting today for the rest of the season, who would your top 5 selections be at the quarterback, running back, and wide receiver positions today, and in what order? So I want you to rank your top 5 going forward for the rest of this season. I don't care who's number 1 on, in points right now. I want to know who's going to finish the season with the most points at these positions. So let's hash it out. Let's start with quarterbacks. Tony, who is your number 1 scoring quarterback the rest of the way?
Kyler Murray.
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
Yeah, I know you're kidding.
I mean, it's Josh Allen. That guy can't be stopped, man. He can't be stopped. And I think that after watching Burrow last night, and some problems on that team, I mean, Burrow still is highly capable of taking the number 1 spot, but my confidence is with Allen.
I would agree with that. I'm going to say John probably doesn't, though. Go ahead, John.
No, actually, I put Allen as 1.
Okay. Who's our 2?
Burrow. He's not going to go that far.
I disagree. I'll tell you what.
Patty Mahomes?
I have Mahomes number 2, and the reason is not because I don't like Joe Burrow. He's amazing. But the offensive line is still a problem, and now Chase is going to be out for a while. And when Chase isn't in there, they're a different team.
I don't think Chase is going to be out that long, though.
I think it's going to be 3 or 4 weeks, though. And they have a bye as well coming up. And that'll be just enough to knock Joe Burrow down a little bit.
We also don't really know if they are a different team. It looked at last night. We got to give them 1 more week.
Okay, yeah, and then they can make adjustments, Yeah.
I mean, come on. T. Higgins and Boyd and those guys can catch. They can do some damage.
That's exactly
So Tony, he's your number 2 as well?
He's my number 2.
Okay. Who's your number 3, guys?
Patty.
You guys have Mahomes? What about you?
Mahomes is 3.
I have Jalen Hurts 3. I'm very impressed with Jalen Hurts, not only because he's running the ball so well and getting touchdowns on the ground, but he's passing from the pocket as well. And A.J. Brown looked like a beast.
So you got Hurts over Burrow?
I do, and it's not because I think Hurts is a better quarterback, John. I just think it's the situation right now. They're missing their top weapon in Chase. And Philly's just running on all cylinders right now. That's the only reason. And you're going to be pissed because I have Joe Burrow 5th. Who do you guys have 4th?
I have Tua.
I have Hurts as 4.
Okay. I could see either one. I mean, Tua's just – he's had a couple monster games.
Ridiculous right now, yeah.
Yeah, he is. And their offense is humming. They have great weaponry. I mean, I could see that. I actually didn't consider Tua in my top 5, but maybe I should reconsider. Thanks. 5. All right, I have – you're going to think just because I have him on my team, I had to pick him. I have Justin Herbert 4th. And let me tell you why. You know who has the easiest schedule for quarterbacks the rest of the season? Justin Herbert. Go look at his schedule after the show, John, and then you won't have to make fun of me because I know you want to just bust my ass right now. It's fine.
No, I mean, I get it. I just feel like this was a little bit of a homer. pick for you. I feel like you're initial thinking a little bit. You got him in 3 leagues. That's all. That's all I'm saying. I don't have him in my top 5, and I have a tie for 5, so I don't even have him in my top 6. So
okay, let me explain a little bit. I was going to trade Justin Herbert. I was looking to trade him because I'm so fed up with that team and that offense. And then I looked at their schedule and I went, oh, wow, they're playing, this crap team and followed by that crap team. Like their entire schedule is the bottom 7, 8 teams in the league against the pass. So I'm like, okay, I'm not going to trade him.
So instead you added Josh Palmer so you can have the combo. Nice.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
So
all right.
I had 2 as 4, and then I have Lamar and Hurts tied for 5th because
Okay.
I couldn't make a choice between those 2. I think Lamar, his receivers are going to start getting healthy. He's still running like a beast, and it's hard to count him out.
Okay. I can see that.
I got him 6.
Running backs. Who's your number 1, John?
King Henry.
I got King Henry. What about you, Tony?
Yeah, I do too. Amazing.
I feel like the guy's just warming up. He looks like he did last year, man.
You do.
He is my number 1 for sure. Who's your number 2?
Tony?
I got Chubb as 2.
Okay.
Though I do, sorry to interject real quick, but like I always say, come week 10 or 12, Chubb tends to kind of take a dip. So it was hard for me to put him as number 2, but he looks so good. I put him as number 2.
So you dip your Chubb into number 2? Really?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. It
What? It got weird. This show got weird. I went CMC for my number 2.
I did too. After what I saw last week, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my God.
Yeah.
They know how to use them.
They unleashed the inner Gale Sayers on that guy. I mean,
They did.
Yeah.
So is he your number 3 there, Tony?
Who, Eckler? Who'd you
CMC.
say? No,
CMC.
I actually have Eckler as 3.
So do
Okay. I do too, but I'm curious, where do you have
I.
McCaffrey?
Where do you have CMC?
I have him as 4.
Okay. Who's your 4, Johnny?
Saquon.
I have Saquon number 4. Man, Johnny.
So that is.
All right. Who's your 5, Johnny?
Chubb.
Okay. Tony?
Bark.
Okay. I went a little different on this one. And it's another homer pick. You could say it.
Oh, for God's sake.
I went Ramondre Stevenson. Have we noticed what he's been
What?
doing?
What?
Stop
So-
it.
Stop it. Stop it right now. You have just lost all credibility.
Go look at what he's done
It's
in
impressive.
in the last 3 weeks and then project it forward.
That was gross.
He's a top 5 running back.
I hope you're right. I actually like him. I think he runs really well. He's
I
hard.
do too. And maybe
My problem is Belichick messes with his backfield so much.
he
I can't
does.
really trust him. I can't trust him.
He took over the passing down work. It's solely his, and that is big in that offense. Mac Jones is a check down Charlie.
Yeah.
I mean, 6, 7, 8 catches every week. He's getting touchdowns. All right, so you guys don't agree with me. That's okay. It's all right. Wide
So you have
receivers.
Chubb in your top 5.
No, because like Tony, I think he's going to wear down. And since Kareem Hunt didn't get traded,
Yeah.
I think they're going to incorporate Hunt into the offense a little bit more now. Now that they know they're keeping him, they're going to try to balance it.
Might as well use him, right?
Yeah. All right, wide receivers. I'm curious to see who your wide receiver ones are. Go ahead, Tony.
I'm all over the place, man. This is still kind of tough because I didn't expect half the stuff that's going on, obviously, but I remarkably, it's hard for me to say this, but I actually have Diggs as number 1 right now.
So do
Wow.
Do you?
So do I, yes.
I thought about it for 15 minutes. I was like, he's got to be my number 1.
Wow.
Yeah.
I went Tyreek Hill. He's number 1 now, and I don't see it changing. That guy's churning up yardage. He's unguardable.
I agree. I have him as my number 2. And the only reason I did is because I've just seen so many catches from him where it's like nobody's around. You know, I'm not trying to make excuses, but some of them have been like
He's like Cup last year.
He's always open. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean he's not finding a way to get open. It's not all about the defense's fault. So, but yeah, I have his
Here's why I'm worried about him the rest of the year is he plays in the AFC East, which means he's going to be playing in New England, New York, Buffalo, all of those places in the last part of the year. All of them cold, all of them have bad weather, all of them have snow, and that is not. Tyreek does not do that great in the snow.
Good point.
Okay.
I have him at 4. I have Hill at 4, so he's in my top 5. But,
of course.
Yeah.
So you guys liked who at number 1?
Diggs.
I have Diggs 4. I have Diggs 4. I don't know why. I mean, I just like these other guys better. I have Justin Jefferson too.
Me too.
I think. Okay. Tony?
I have him 3.
Who do you have 2?
Who do I have 2? I have Diggs, Hill, Jefferson.
Oh, you have Tyreek too. Okay.
Yeah.
So Jefferson's your 3. John, who's your 3?
I still think Cooper Kupp. Kupp's my number 3.
Me too. I agree. Cooper Kupp. As long as he's healthy.
Yeah.
He's doing it like he did last year. He's really good.
Always open, always catching the ball.
Who's our 4? I got Diggs 4. I already said that.
I had Hill 4.
Okay.
I got Cup. I put Cup as 4.
Okay, good. All right. And then our 5. These are all going to be different. John, who's your 5?
I put Jamar Chase because it's a fact that Bengals team goes through Jamar Chase, and those two have a special connection. If he's healthy the rest of the year, Chase.
But if he misses 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, I didn't really think about that. I was just really thinking about the best receiver for the rest of the year. So I might change my number 5. Go to Tony. I'll think about it.
Tony?
Can't believe I'm saying this either, but AJ Brown. I did not see.
That's true. I was wrestling a little bit.
5, man. I got him as 5.
I can
Over
see
Chase.
that. That's not silly at all. That's actually pretty solid. I went Devontae Adams. I think a revenge game's coming. We've seen him have big games with Carr. He did have a 1 catch for 3-yard game this week. I think that corrects next week. I think he's going to get pissed off and he's going to go off. So I like him as my wide receiver 5.
So the only reason I didn't like him, because I thought about him too. So both of the 2 you just mentioned, like I had a group of 5 people that I could have put in the number 5 spot. I didn't like Devontae because now I know what his floor is. Right. So I know I think Devontae's floor was like 12, 13, and then his ceiling is crazy high, right? Mm-hmm. But now I know he could have a 3. He could have a 3? I mean, that's
very bad.
Yeah. So that offense right now is just not doing anything. So that's why I didn't have him there. AJ Brown makes a lot of sense to me because he's got a quarterback who loves him, can throw high, mostly because he's inaccurate, but this guy's going to go find it. I also could have made a case for Nuke right here. That was my other guy that was in that.
I thought about Hopkins. I did. Yeah, no doubt. All right. And I also thought about Waddle.
I did too.
Yeah.
It's crazy that those 2 receivers in the same offense are going so ballistic.
Yep.
It's very impressive. Congratulations to those of you who got Tua, by the way, because you drafted him late, and he's a top. If he plays every week, he's a top 5 quarterback. He's close.
Yeah, I got Mahomes and Tua. Other than that, my team sucks.
Fantastic.
I got those 2 guys, and I don't know what to do.
You got to play Mahomes every week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
You know what else is cool though?
I've tried with a couple people. They're blowing me off.
Well, here's the thing though. Nobody else is using Tua. So you're gaining by not letting someone else have them. So
good point.
Yep.
You could let the Reaper have him though.
Didn't I? I mean,
you haven't hit me up.
you know Reaper.
But you got Herbert?
Make sure it's not in the money league. Fuck
I would.
Dude,
if I got Tua on that team, and I wouldn't know who to play between him and Herbert each week. I really wouldn't.
I know.
That'd be a tough call.
Yeah.
All right. Excellent show tonight, fellas. Good show. Good topics. I enjoyed it very much. Thank
Tony,
you for watching.
Tony, I hope we you off the ledge.
I appreciate it. I'm glad I did the show. I feel a little bit better now.
Yeah, see.
Can I give you one fantasy nickname that'll make me happy?
Yeah.
Christian McThreeTDs.
Nice. Wow. You worked on that one.
I did. I had to get it on the show. Comment, subscribe, like, hit that bell, all that good stuff, because we do this every week, Johnny.
Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong.
I want to thank my main man, Johnny Ballgame.
Reap always fan-freaking-tastic.
And my other dude down there, Mr.
You guys know why my shirt's purple, right?
No, tell us.
It's like, my surgery. It's just I'm trying to match so it doesn't.
So you've gone from black to purple?
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, that's improvement.
Yeah.
Yes, that's improvement.
Good. It's nice.
All right, guys, thank you for your support. We appreciate you very much. We'll see you next week.
See you next week. Bye, guys.
Aloha.